to kill, and to destroy us. And what better way to steal, kill, and destroy than to target our youth, to target our young people? And so we have to have a very real sense of urgency and of responsibility to take hold of the spiritual health of our kids, because God has given us that responsibility. And so, in case you weren't scared enough by the video, I've done, a lot of research preparing for this message. And technology can be a very good thing. Technology has given us, the ability to be connected to one another, throughout the world in a way that is mind-blowing and amazing. Technology has increased our level of knowledge on literally any topic you want to know. You can know as much as you want to know. You can learn any language you want. You can have a question about any fact, and in 3 seconds through Wikipedia, you can learn anything, right? That's amazing. And so technology has provided many, many good things. But it has also opened the door for many dangerous things. And so I think it's important for us to understand how we use technology. Maybe some of the startling statistics of the way that we use it, and then some of the dangerous things that have been opened up toward our use of technology, and how that has shifted the way our young people view morality and certain things. And so, first of all, Barna did a study, and I'll post a link if you want to friend me on Facebook. I'll post links to all these studies, just so you know I'm not pulling them on my hat or anything, but they are very interesting. Barna has done many studies about the way we use technology, and they've come to the conclusion that parents, adults, are just as dependent on technology as young people are, as their kids are. Parents said that 70% of parents go to sleep with their smartphone right next to them. And they said that 72% of parents say that their tweens, so it's a word that means younger than teen, so 12 and younger, 72% of tweens go to bed with their smartphone right next to them. And parents say that 82% of their teens go to bed with their smartphone right next to them. We are connected to, I have a smartphone right here in my back pocket. We're connected to them, right? We use technology all the time. At least 5 hours a day, we are in front of a screen. No difference between young and old. The conclusion to this study is that families welcome technology and media with open arms rather than with suspicion. Technology is just a part of our life. It has become part of what we do every single day. Another study showed that adults and youth, they take very few breaks from technology. Only 1 in 10 parents and only 6% of teenagers say they take a day off a week from their digital usage. Only 1 in 10, only 6%. We rely on technology. And families experience conflict about technology. Who knew? 1 in every 4 parents say they have strong disagreements, and that's a spiritual word for fights, about limits they place on media and technology on a weekly basis. So 1 in 4 parents say they fight with their kids about technology on a weekly basis. I think we fight with our 2-year-old on a daily basis about technology. Half of parents worry about technology and media wasting their children's time. However, 1/5 of youth, 21%, say their parents have a double standard when it comes to technology. So you're telling me to do one thing, but you're doing the other thing. 1/6 of these tweens and teens say their parents bring their work home with them too much. We are connected to technology. And so I don't think any of us would really argue that fact, right? Most of you probably have a smartphone either in your front pocket, your back pocket, or in your car, maybe, if you're one of the few. But I think what we don't always like to know is maybe some of the dangerous and really uncomfortable results that this connectedness to technology has brought to our young people and to our society today. And so bear with me. I have some more stats. Barna says that 70% of kids ages 8 to 18 have accidentally encountered online pornography, most while doing homework. 90% of children ages 8 to 16 have already seen online pornography. The FBI predicts that there are approximately 50,000 sex predators online at any given moment. 1 in 5 youth ages 10 to 17 have received a sexual solicitation while online. 75% of children are willing to share personal information online about themselves with complete strangers. This connectedness to technology has opened up a whole nother door to very, very dangerous things. And so we see that result, but then there's another result beyond that result. Barna says that teens and young adults now rank not recycling as more immoral than viewing pornography. All people who use pornography, only 1 in 5 say they actually feel a sense of guilt when using it. That this increase in use of technology has opened doors that maybe we didn't think it would open, and now has resulted in really a changing of the moral fiber of our society. You see, here's really what's even more sad, is that I have to cut these stats off. I could read really heart-wrenching statistics probably for the next hour. Some of them might surprise you, some of them won't. And the truth of the matter is, with all the good that technology does for us, there's really one simple truth, is that it doesn't make us better people. Technology has made life easier for us in many, many ways, but it has not made us better people. And so we need to have a response to this. We cannot just turn a blind eye. That does no good. So that's why we're talking about this. That's why we're having these hard conversations that maybe might make us feel a little bit uncomfortable. But man, I want to see the health of our families. I want to see the health of our youth. I want to see young people that love God, that serve Him, and that are pursuing holiness with their life. And so we prepared a video that's really going to start to address some of the things that we can do to protect our young people. So you can turn your attention to the screen now.
Brett, and I've been in the technology industry for probably over 15 years, and the majority of that time I actually got the privilege of working here at CLC as the IT manager. So I got to manage all the computers and devices on all of CLC's networks across all 4 campuses. So that was pretty cool, and now I'm working with the Air Force. I'm helping them roll out software to all the Air Force bases around the world. So I love technology. I love computers and smartphones. I love social media and the internet. I mean, it's completely changed the way we live, right? I mean, I think I have an Amazon box showing up at my door pretty much every other day. So, I mean, technology is awesome. But you know what? I'm also a dad to 2 young girls. And there are times that I really hate technology. I mean, sometimes I wish it'd just go away. You know, as much as I love my iPhone, I find myself wishing we could just go back to like flip phones and dial-up. Well, okay, not dial-up. That was actually pretty bad. But you know what I mean, right? Before smartphones and social media, it was just so much simpler. But you know what? The reality is, this is the world that our kids are growing up in. my girls would probably have a screen in front of their faces all day, every day, if we would let them. So, you know what? If you're a parent of young kids, you have a responsibility to do what you can to protect them as they spend their time online. I've said it before, but you'd never consider giving the keys of to your car over to a 10-year-old and saying, have fun, right? Because they're not prepared for that responsibility. But I feel like sometimes that's what we do when we give our kids a phone or a tablet and we haven't done anything to make sure that they're protected. There was a study a few years back that showed that almost 30% of parents let their kids use the internet with like zero restrictions or supervision. We have a responsibility to prepare our kids to be responsible online, right? And there are some safety precautions that we can put in place to help with that. And so in the CLC app and on clcdayton.com, we've included a list of resources that you can use to help keep your home network and your devices safer. So definitely check that out. Now, notice I said safer, right? Not completely safe. You can put in all the technology restrictions that you want, but there's no solution that's going to guarantee that your kids don't stumble on something that they shouldn't. Kids, they're smart, man. I mean, I feel like my kids are smarter than me half the time. I'm sure I'm not alone with that. And if all we do is try to lock down everything and restrict what they can and cannot do, kids are probably going to find another way, right? There's no substitute for being involved and engaged with your kids. Talk to them about what you expect. Talk to them about the dangers of being online. Make sure they know what's okay to share and what's not okay. When is it too much? And then, you know what? You have to keep talking to them. One conversation is definitely not enough. You have to keep an open and ongoing dialogue with your kids. And then, you know what? Don't forget to inspect what you expect, right? My kids know that we can take their devices anytime we want. It's not because we don't trust them, it's because we love them. And yes, they roll their eyes when I tell them that, but you know what? A little accountability really does go a long way. And then on top of all of that, I also make it a point to at least try to use the same apps that my kids are using. I've had to be humbled more than once and ask them for help, but I think it's really important to know how that stuff works. And plus, you know what, if you've never made a Musical.ly video or taken a selfie with a Snapchat filter, you're missing out. So, you know what, get the resource list from the CLC app or the website and make sure you're doing what you can do to help protect your family online. And then most importantly, be involved, be engaged, and keep communication open with your kids. Thanks so much.
So as Brett said, you can go online or on the app. We also have a few of these resource pages on the table in our lobby as well. I think we're running low, so maybe just like one page per family. I don't think you need more than that. But one of the things that Brett said was to make them safer, make everything safer. He said, but there's no perfect way. There's no perfect security device. And part of the reason is that technology, right, is constantly changing. And so there were things, 10 years ago. Does anybody remember MySpace? Anybody have MySpace? I had a MySpace. I can still log in. You can see what I looked like when I was in high school. And then it changed to Facebook. And then it changed to Twitter. And then there's Instagram. And then there's Snapchat. And then there's music. There's all these different things. Every single, month, it seems like there's something else that changes. And so there's no perfect, security or app, but we can do, we can do our part. We can do something. As I was preparing for this, I know I said that I interviewed 2 young people that I used to have in my youth group when I was a youth pastor. And so one of the young man's name is Austin, and he's in Bible college right now. He's preparing to be a pastor. And I first met him. He was like 13 years old, 12 years old. I had him over my house for something, and I had my computer out. And I was getting ready to log into something, and he goes, "Let me see if I can log in." He said, I think I know your password. And I was like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I know most people's passwords." I was like, "What are you talking about, man?" I'm like, "Okay, like do your best, like see what you can do." And I gave him my computer, and in less than a minute, he had logged in. And I was like, what are you doing, man? How did you do that? And he continued to show me like really easy how he figured out my password. He was really into like hacking. And so I'm like, man, we're doing this series. I got to talk to Austin. I got to get his perspective about things. And he said, my parents didn't know anything, basically what he was saying. He said, they were so ill-prepared to help me. And I was like, well, do you still do your hacking? And he goes, I don't do that so much. He goes, mostly I do computer programming, things like that. He goes, but my younger brother does. He's 14. And I go, really? I'm like, what kind of stuff does he do? And he's like, well, he goes, just last year, he changed his grade in his teacher's computer. And I was like, really? I'm like, he goes, yeah, he doesn't do it all the time. He just wanted to see if he could really do it. And so I tell you this story to really say there's ways around everything, right? And chances are your kids, your young people, they're the native speakers. They learn it as it comes out, and we are looking at it from the outside in. So we have to do a little work. We have to do a little digging. We have to know, what is out there. We have to stay on watch. And so, there's no perfect app, no perfect security, because there are ways around everything. And then also, most of you know we have a 2.5-year-old and a newborn. And what we're learning is that even at 2.5, my daughter wants independence. So she'll go up and she'll play in her room by herself. And that's terrifying to me. And that, she wants to play outside by herself. And eventually, most of you parents, you've experienced, they go on the bus and they go to school by themselves. And then eventually they're going to go off to college by themselves. And then they're going to go and they're going to live by themselves. And so there's no perfect app, there's no perfect security, because God's design is eventually independence. Right? In Genesis chapter 2, God says that this is part of his plan for a man to leave his father and mother and to be independent. And so there are ways around everything, and then God's design is for independence. So for parents and grandparents, you know that you can't hold on forever. You can't secure forever. And so wisdom, character, is a much better protector than any app, any firewall, or any shotgun, right? That you could have. I have to get a gun now that I have 2 daughters. Somebody say amen.